Hello, my name is Ya Cao. Today I want to talk to you about God's God. On YouTube, there is a very famous channel master named DarkMatter2525 who is a renowned atheist. He has many videos with almost 152 million viewers. I'm sure he has made a lot of money with his videos. Many of his fellow atheists pay him through Patreon for his work of slandering God and the Bible. A video he made 9 years ago has been viewed more than 3 million times. Dark Matter is an atheist. We all know we have the freedom of belief. He can believe that God doesn't exist, but why does he want to attack other people's beliefs? But even funnier is that he believes that there's no God, and yet he uses a God character to do that. It is obvious that he knows God exists, and yet he doesn't like this existing God. If you watch most of his videos, the cartoon character God speaks a very filthy language with 4-letter words all the time. Those thoughts did not come from the holy God from the Bible, but from dark matter. There is a Chinese saying that a dog cannot grow ivory out of its mouth. What it means is that a filthy mouth cannot utter decent language. Therefore, it is very clear that dark matter is a very filthy person. Do you want to put your trust in a corrupt and a filthy person? The conclusion of his about 10 minutes video is the following. According to the Bible, God created heaven and earth and everything in it. God is the first cause. However, he argued that God is like anything we are familiar with and also needs a cause. That is why he picked the title of the video, God's God, and showed God died and went to the super God who created God several times. At the end of the video, Dark Matter came out declaring that God is nothing but in humans' imagination. God is created by man. If you are familiar with his videos, that person represents Dark Matter himself. If God's God exists, God is no longer God. If God's God exists, meaning God is also needing a cause. In other words, God is no longer the first cause. However, does the first cause of the universe exist? If so, the existing of God is plausible. What we are about to do here is to use logic to see that the first cause do exist. Not from anybody's imagination, certainly not from dark matters. Before diving into the discussion, let's think about something first. If you ask a child to count from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and up, how long does it take to get to infinity? I think we all agree that if anyone has a sound mind, knows that it is impossible to reach infinity. For the same token, you cannot count from infinity back to 1 either. Now, if you have a cherry, this cherry cannot explain its existence because it comes from a cherry tree. And the cherry tree cannot explain its existence either because maybe someone ate a cherry and spit the seed onto the ground, then came the cherry tree. We can keep going backward finding the causes, so we will get a chain of causes and effects. You can also think from yourself. You have a cause, which is your father. If your father never existed, you wouldn't be here either. So you can trace back to your grandfather and the great-grandfather and so forth. Therefore, we can start from any existing object. We can find one of its causes. The cause must pre-existed before the object. You keep tracing back, you can find a chain of causes and effects. In that chain, it takes time to go from a cause to its effect, just like counting numbers takes time. Now, are there finite number of things in the chain or infinite number of them? If there were infinite number of them, starting from the cause that is infinity away, it could never reach the present time, just like you cannot count backward from infinity to 1. But present time do exist, because we started from a presently existing object, so now exist. This clearly is a contradiction. Therefore, the assumption of infinity causes are wrong. It wouldn't be infinite number of them. Since there are only finite number of them, you can go to the first one, which is the first cause. So it is very clear from this logical exposition, we can conclude that the first cause exists. What is the first cause like? What kind of attribute does it have? First, it must not have any causes. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the first cause. Secondly, it must be eternal, because anything with a start must have a cause. Why? Let's take a look. If a thing has a start, then either it has a cause or it is not the effect of any causes, meaning it comes out from nothing. But something comes out from nothing is not believable to intellects like us. Therefore, anything with a start must have a cause. Therefore, it cannot be the first cause. So the first cause must be eternal. The first cause is non-material either, because if it is material, it cannot escape from the universe. But universe came from the Big Bang. So Big Bang is the cause of the first cause, which means it no longer would be the first cause. Therefore, the first cause must be non-material. Since everything came from the first cause, it caused all things. Therefore, it is the creator. So, amazingly, the first cause has the same attributes of God. Some may argue that since we can start from any object, why couldn't we get many first causes? Again, all material things cannot escape from the universe, so no matter what object you started with, it will eventually merge to the Big Bang. Therefore, the first cause will be the cause of the Big Bang. So there can only be one first cause, and the first cause is unique. Now the atheist would argue that if God created the universe, but who created God? Or, if everything needs a cause, how can God is an exception? Let's say if God needs a cause, then a super God created God. Immediately we need to ask the same question, does the super God need a cause? So a super God exists. Then a super God exists, and super God exists, and on and on. Therefore, we can get a chain of gods. The question is whether this chain has finite number or infinite number of gods. We have gone through this already. It cannot be infinite of them. It can only be finite of them. Since there are only finite of them, we can get to the first one. Since it is the first one, there cannot be anyone before it, meaning it has no cause. This is the result of logical deduction. Infinite number of causes are impossible, so the first one is God, and the rest of them are not. All things need causes, but God is not a thing. He is the creator. By now, atheists agree that from this logic deduction that the first cause exists. They also agree that if the first cause is God, then God has no cause. But they will say that why can the first cause be the universe? If the universe is the first cause, then we don't need God. People with this kind of question has a clear motive, because they cannot stand the existence of God. But is it true that the universe, the first cause? This is something worth finding out. Science tells us that the universe is from the Big Bang. So the cause of the universe is the Big Bang. Therefore, the universe cannot be the first cause, period. Now the atheists will scramble to say, then the first cause must be the Big Bang. Can the Big Bang be the first cause? We all know Big Bang had a start when it exploded. Anything that has a start has a cause. We have already gone through that. So the Big Bang cannot be the first cause. Also, the Big Bang came from a high temperature, high density called singularity. It exploded and it became the vast universe. So the Big Bang had changed. Anything that changes must have a cause. A changing thing has the potential to change, but it cannot change without outside forces. For example, a pine seed falls on the ground with soil, with sunlight and water, it soon will turn into a big tree. But if a pine seed falls on a rock, without sunshine and water, it cannot become a tree at all. Sorry, Big Bang changed, so it needed outside forces to change, so it couldn't be the first cause. If you look at anything that explodes, like a hand grenade, if you hold the candle, then pull the safety pin, let go the handle, when you throw it away, it would explode. Or you just heat it up, it would explode. If you do nothing, it will not explode. That is very clear. Big Bang exploded, but who ignited the Big Bang? So the Big Bang must have a cause. Therefore, I'm sorry to say, the Big Bang cannot be the first cause. Obviously, the first cause exists. The first cause has the attributes of God, and the first cause cannot be the universe nor the Big Bang. The first cause is also unique. Therefore, if the first cause is not God, what is it? So God exists, atheism is wrong, and atheists, please wake up. God not only exists, it says in the Bible, in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." My friends, this God is a loving God. He wishes you well. It will be worthwhile for you to openly and humbly to explore who He is. May God richly bless you. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.